What is going on this morning, YouTube and Facebook? It's your boy Marcus J here again with another short edition of some NBA playoff recapping, as well as some other NBA news. How's everybody doing in the 717 today? Hope everybody's staying blessed and staying safe out there. There's a lot of rough times around these parts. Still trying to wake up a little bit, so just bear with me, guys. It's been a long night. I've been up all night creating merchandise. I created a merch store. I have about three pieces of shirts out, two females, one males. I'm going to be working on another males tonight. I'm also going to be having kids merchandise as well. You can check that link out in the description of my YouTube channel. Um, I do have the merch store link in there, 717 SCL merch store. So you guys can go check that out on YouTube if you're interested in buying any merch. Just to start off, I only started off three things so far. I'm just, getting my feet wet into it, but I like it. I like it a lot. I like designing these shirts. It's something that I'm actually taking a real liking to. And on today's quick NBA slate, we are going to be covering, like I said in the description, the game four recaps, as well as Lamar Odom KO's Aaron Carter in a celebrity boxing match. Anybody knows Lamar Odom, former LA Laker, former Miami Heat, former NBA player in general, also an NBA champion. Did celebrity boxing over the weekend against Aaron Carter. We'll talk about that. Apparently, Mike D'Antoni, former Suns and former Rockets coach, is in line to be interviewed by the Portland Trailblazers. Um, I will make short note of that. I won't be covering too much of that. I just will, bring that up just for some fact. I'm going to use a separate video to talk about that because there's a little bit to unpack with that situation. If Portland were to make that hire, I have some opinions that I want to share on that, but that's for a separate video. Starting off, Sunday's game four recap. Bucks even series. Kyrie exits the game four with an ankle injury in the game versus the Bucks and the Nets. If anybody's been keeping track of this series, everybody knows the first two games, Nets blew the doors off of the Bucks. It wasn't close, neither game. But the series switched back to Milwaukee, and it was a different atmosphere in Milwaukee. And the key for the Bucks winning in the last two games in Milwaukee at home was they played very, very good defense. It's worth to note that the Brooklyn Nets, the first two games in which they won of the series, scored a total of 240 points in those two wins. That's an average of 120 points a game. Keep in mind that James Harden did not play in game two. Keep that in mind. But the Nets in the first two games of the series in Brooklyn at home averaged 120 points per game. In Milwaukee, it was a different story. The Brooklyn Nets scored 180 points in two games in Milwaukee for an average of 90 points per game. That speaks volumes to the adjustments that the Bucks defense made. Some could say it's home court advantage, the atmosphere of the crowd. But if you watch the game, the Bucks did what the Bucks should have been doing the first two games: put bodies up on these guys, make these other guys like Joe Harris, like Bruce Brown, Landry Shamet, all these other guys make the shots. Don't let Kyrie and KD beat you. And you started seeing some of that frustration wear out, especially when PJ Tucker and KD had gotten into it in that little scuffle in that game. The Bucks have the Nets frustrated right now. And especially with Kyrie exiting game four with the injury and he's not playing tonight, that's a big issue for the Nets. Now KD's going to be rocking solo. So they're going to need guys like Mike James, Bruce Brown, Landry Shamet, all these other guys, all these other role players. They're going to need these guys to step up. And it's not to say the Nets don't have the talent. They have a pretty young, deep bench. But in the playoff series against anybody, you don't want your bench warmers going up against the other team's starters. So this spells doom with Kyrie. And now also James Harden has been upgraded to doubtful for this game five. We are going to be previewing game five later. But it's worth to note now all of a sudden James Harden is upgraded to doubtful. He's not playing in this game. That doubtful tag don't mean anything. Nothing. He is not playing in this game. James Harden will not be on the floor for the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Mark my words, guarantee it. Just because the Nets decided to upgrade his status to doubtful, that's just to kind of put some fear into the Bucks. He is not playing tonight. He's not. Don't count on it. Don't count on it at all. So the Bucks even the series 2-2. Game 5 is tonight. We are going to be touching on that here in a few moments. Game 5 is tonight. But once again, Bucks even the series 2-2 with very stout, solid defense. Once again, the Nets scored 240 points at home the first 2 games in Brooklyn. That's an average of 120 points. In Milwaukee, they only average 90 points a game. And everybody knows, who watches the Nets play basketball, that team is all offense and no defense. If you could shut that offense down, they have nothing to offer. Moving on to Sunday's other game 4. Suns give Nuggets the broom treatment. You swept them all out of there. Advanced to their first Western Conference Finals in 11 years. Win series 4-0. Chris Paul, man, everywhere this guy goes, he turns the team around. He did it when he got drafted to the former New Orleans Hornets, now the Pelicans, because the Hornets went back to Charlotte. He's done it with the Clippers. He's done it with Houston, and he did it last year with OKC, and now he's doing it with Phoenix. And there's not much to say really about this series. I already touched on what I thought, how the series is playing out. The Suns just outplayed the Nuggets, but it's also the Nuggets did not have Jamal Murray. That's a big loss. And all their other guys, like Will Barton, was just coming back off of injuries. Monte Morris was just getting back in playing shape, coming off an injury. So the Nuggets, though guys like Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon played very well in the first round against Portland, it's worth to note Portland's not a good defensive team. The Suns are a really good defensive team. The Suns have everything in the starting lineup, in all honesty, that you want. If you look at making a championship roster, you have like I said, you have the general point guard, pure point guard at that. You have pure shooter in Devin Booker, and then you have the big man down low and DeAndre Ayton. They have all the makings of a champion, and they, like I said, they look real good, and they're the first team out of all these teams to get to the conference finals, so they're resting up. They keep playing like they are against whoever they face, the winners out of Clippers and Jazz. We could very well see the Suns moving on to the finals. I still have the Jazz going to the finals, but the Suns, you cannot count them out, obviously. You can't at all. That team is very, very dangerous, especially when guys around them like Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, all these other guys around them start getting hot. That team, and if everything's clicking with the starting lineup and then the bench gets in on it, they're going to be tough to beat in the West Finals. Real tough to beat. This might be the year Chris Paul finally breaks through and gets to the NBA Finals. This just very well might. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the first 2 topics I touched on about Bucks Game 4 against the Nets. Tell me what you guys are seeing so far in the series. Let me know what you guys think about the Suns and their chances of going to the NBA Finals, whether they face the Jazz or the Clippers. Hit the comment section and let me know what you guys think. And don't forget to crush that like button and subscribe. Moving on to last night, Monday night's NBA slate. Philly and Atlanta is the first game of this slate. Trae Young drops 25 point, 18 assists. But the key about this banner I just posted up here. Sixers blow game 4. Series tied 2-2. Because that's just what it is. Yes, Trae Young dropped 25 points, 18 assists. It's not taking nothing away. He had a spectacular performance. He did everything he was supposed to do to get his team back into the conversation and get his team back into the series. But why I put that tagline of Sixers blow game 4? Because they did blow game 4. It's worth to note, Trae Young drops 25 points, 18 assists, right? Joel Embiid in the second half went 0 for 12. 0 for 12, mind you. Joel Embiid did not make a field goal in the second half. The Sixers only lost this game by 3 points. The final score was 103-100. Now, I've seen in a couple Sixers fan chats that a lot of them are blaming Joel, you know what I mean? And some are even blaming Doc Rivers. I'm going to place the blame on Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, who is on a max contract deal, who's supposed to be our second superstar behind Joel Embiid, shot one field goal in the last quarter and a half of that ball game. In the last 17 minutes, Ben Simmons took one field goal attempt. Why am I pissed about this? Well, let's see. Your main guy, your top guy, having an off night. Let's keep in mind that Joel Embiid is playing on a half-torn meniscus. The difficulty of playing with that injury, you got guys sitting out with ankle sprains, knee bruises. You guys sitting out with that, with lesser degree of an injury. This guy's playing on a half tear, and he has been on a tear through the playoffs. But he was bound to have that one bad performance to where maybe that tear, that ligament, that meniscus was bothering him a little bit. And last night, especially in the second half, you saw that. You saw that he was struggling. He didn't make a shot the rest of the game. But the point I'm trying to make is we still only lost that game by 3 points. And why I'm placing the blame on Ben Simmons is because when our top guy is struggling, you are supposed to be the guy who's supposed to come behind him and take over the game. You are supposed to be the Kobe to his Shaq, the Scotty to his Mike. Everybody wants to sit there and say, oh, well, look at the stats. He had 11 points, like 10 assists and 9 rebounds. I don't give a damn about that. What I give a damn about is the one field goal attempt taken in the last 17 minutes of the game, in a playoff game. That's what I care about. You are 6'10", point guard, who has incredible physical abilities. You can facilitate. You can slash. When he decides to be aggressive, damn near nobody can stop him. It's like LeBron going through the paint in his prime. But the issue I have with Ben Simmons is he doesn't do this consistently, and he doesn't do this enough. And last night was a prime example when we needed Ben Simmons to be the guy. When Joel Embiid was out there struggling, hurt, that half-torn meniscus was giving him problems to where he couldn't even make a damn bucket in the second half. Ben Simmons decided to not be aggressive, to not be the Kobe to Joel Shaq, and decided to shoot one damn field goal in the entire last 17 minutes of the game. That's a whole quarter and a half. That is unacceptable, especially in playoff basketball. I just read a quote from Ben Simmons talking about the Defensive Player of the Year award. I'm not worried about individual awards. I'm worrying about the championship. Well, damn it, I can't tell. Because we should have won that game last night, and we should be up 3-1, going home, about ready to close this thing out. But because you decide not to be fucking aggressive and use all your physical gifts, we're now tied 2-2. You can't blame Doc Rivers, because when your top guy is going 0 for 12 in the second half, but you still only lose this game by 3 points, that's not the coach to blame. He had us in position to win. We lost this game by 1 possession. Had Ben attempted maybe 2-3 more attempts, even if he misses them, but creates fouls, that changes the game. We probably win that game. But because he chose not to be aggressive, because he continues to choose to be inconsistent, this is why sometimes we lose games that we should win, like last night. Should have won that game. What's up, cuz? That's right. You're damn right I'm going to tell him. You're damn right I'm going to tell him because this is a lot of Sixers fans I see cater to Ben. You know what I mean? Oh, well, he's a walking triple-double. He's a walking triple-double that scores 10, 11 points? That's something to ooh-ah about? You got guys like Harden and LeBron putting up 20, 30, 10, and 11. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that, oh, he's a walking triple-double. He's not a walking triple-double because the motherfucker don't do it consistently enough. And this is why the series is now tied 2-2 instead of 3-1 going back to Philly. We should be on our way back home. We should be going back home on our way to get them out of there in Game 5. But instead, we got to struggle a little bit more. Why? Because Ben Simmons decided to be Ben Simmons and be soft. And I'm just going to say it. He's soft. He is soft. He does not be aggressive consistently enough, especially when we need him to be. And last night was a prime example when the game is that damn close. When you look at Trae Young's stats, 25.18 assists, you would think we got blown the hell out. But we didn't. We lost this game by one possession. One possession. Ben Simmons shoots one field goal the last 17 minutes of the game. That's the difference between winning and losing. It's tough being a Sixers fan, man. It is. It really is. Don't forget to crush that like button and hit subscribe. We're going to move on off of this before I blow another gasket. Because the more I talk about it, the more I'm getting upset. Moving on to Game 2 on last night's NBA slate. Kawhi posterizes the Jazz, and I definitely mean posterize. If anybody's seen that dunk, I would share it, but if I'm not mistaken, I will get copyrighted for that, so I can't share it. You know what I mean? I have to figure out ways to where I can find uncopyrighted videos like that in order to put them on the stream. Slow grind. You know what I mean? We'll get there. But Kawhi posterizes the Jazz. Clippers even the series at 2-2. I told you guys, just because the Jazz went up 2-0, I'm not counting the Clippers out because this is what happened against the Mavericks. I told y'all, this team knows what it's like to have their backs against the wall and respond. In the last two games, they responded. And how they responded is the first two games, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were non-existent. They weren't existent at all. These last two games, game 3, Paul was okay. You know what I mean? But last night, they both were on. The entire team was on. When this team in general is on, there's a reason why they're favored to go to the finals. This team is top to bottom very, very good, a very well-seasoned team. It's just sometimes I feel like they have mental lapses. And they're still not out of the woods of having another mental lapse. We have 2 more games to go, and I still got the Jazz winning this series. You know what I mean? But if you haven't seen it yet, go check out that dunk from Kawhi. That was rim rattling. That was nasty. That was disrespectful. Very disrespectful. But once again, Kawhi posterizes the Jazz. Clippers even the series at 2-2. And some of these series, man, I thought would be a little bit easier, are starting to get interesting. Like I had the Nets sweeping through the Bucks. Now, obviously, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Well, obviously, it's not, obviously. But once again, Kawhi posterizes the Jazz. Clippers even series at 2-2. I'm not mistaken, Game 5 will be tomorrow in Utah. It's either tomorrow or Wednesday. Because sometimes they be switching it up, especially with the West Coast games. Moving on, we are going to preview real quick Bucks next Game 5. As I said earlier, James Harden was upgraded to doubtful. unpack this real quick. He is not playing tonight. He's not playing. If he is playing, they're just going to do more damage than good. That's all. But I the doubtful tag, I very doubt that he's going to play tonight. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all. But the preview Bucks Nets game 5. The Bucks have all the momentum going into this game back to Brooklyn. They have Brooklyn right where they want them. They have them on a defensive, and on top of that, they have them hurt. Both Kyrie and James Harden is out, leaving Kevin Durant to rock this thing out solo. And I don't like his chances. Not with, the other core guys they have around. The Nets are going to need a special performance from the team in general tonight in order to hold off the Bucks. I have the Bucks winning this game because, as I touched on earlier, you don't want basically your bench warmers going up against the opposing team starters, especially in a playoff game. You're all going to have to hope that the Bucks come out and be the Bucks of the first 2 games in Brooklyn and have literally no offense and no energy. That's what the Nets are going to have to rely on tonight, and also rely on these other guys having their moment. You know what I mean? Having their moment to have that next man up moment. That's the mentality that these guys like Mike James, like Bruce Brown, Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot, guys that are going to be asked to do more than they're usually asked to do tonight, the Nets are going to have to reach into their depth, and their depth is going to have to respond. And it might also take a very special performance from KD tonight. It might take a 40, 50-point performance from KD tonight for the Nets to win. An interesting thing I thought about, just me personally, what I'd like to see the Nets do, I would like to see the Nets try to have Kevin run point. Being that Kyrie's out and Harden's out, I would like to see that type of matchup. See what that matchup problem will cause for the Bucks if the Nets would run Kevin at point with Kyrie and James Harden being out. Me personally, that's just something I thought about in my head. Like, the Nets being shorthanded, especially at guard, you know what I mean? What if they put KD at point? KD's not a terrible facilitator. He's a pretty good facilitator. He can bring the ball up the court. If I'm the Nets, I might even explore that option. If I'm the Nets, I might explore that option. I would want KD bringing the ball up the court, especially if I'm shorthanded my 2 best guards. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me guys know what you think about Bucks Nets game 5, how you have it going, what is your score spread, the predictions, and let me know what you guys think if the Nets decide to run Kevin Durant at point. Am I out of my mind, or is it something that's a possibility? I think it's something that's a legit question to bring up. Can Kevin Durant possibly run point tonight? I would like to see it. I think it would open up so much more. I think it would open up a different avenue for the Nets, obviously offensively, with Kyrie and James Harden being out. And it would give the Bucks a little bit of a different look from the defensive end. But basically, that's just the Nets going to have to hope for next to Houdini performance tonight, and the Bucks are going to have to repeat. They're going to have to bring what they did in Milwaukee to Brooklyn. Be more efficiently offensively. Game 3 was the first time the Bucks went over 100 points in a series, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was the first time in this series the Bucks went over 100 points. The previous 3 games, they didn't even think they scored like 96, 86, and then 96, 86, and then another 86. So the the Bucks were basically where the Nets at in terms of points per game at the first couple games of the series. Their offense was non-existent. Now the role has reversed in the last 2 games. So the Bucks have to do. They have to bring what they did in Milwaukee. They have to bring Milwaukee to Brooklyn. That's what they have to do. The Bucks have to bring Milwaukee to Brooklyn. What they did in Milwaukee, they have to bring that into Barclays Center. Moving on to other NBA news. If you even want to really call this NBA news, I call it NBA news because it revolves around a former player. Lamar Odom KOs Aaron Carter in celebrity boxing match. Okay. I mean, I guess it's cool. I mean, Lamar Odom is like 6'10", 230, 40 pounds. Aaron Carter's like 5'9", 5'10", a buck something. Was a mismatch from the start, but hey, they both making money. You know what I mean? It's entertaining. Some of those celebrity matches are entertaining. I'll give them that. You know what I mean? So kudos to Lamar Odom, but if he's gonna keep doing a celebrity boxing gig, I want him to see him fight somebody his size. At least somebody is not a total complete mismatch. We'll see what happens in the near future. And like I touched on a little bit earlier, Mike D'Antoni, next Blazers coach, supposed to get interviewed by the team. Like I said, this topic is going to be for another video because I have some unpacking to do on this. I have some opinions about if the Blazers were to make this move. As you can tell by my reaction, I don't look too thrilled about it. But hey, good for Mike D'Antoni. I mean, he's a good offensive mind. You know, he's a good offensive mind. I'll give him that. He knows how to create a very good run and gun style offense. But he also leaves much else to be desired as a head NBA basketball coach. But that's a little interesting because the Blazers are in the market for a new head coach after Terry Stotts and the team decided to part ways with each other and after 9-10 seasons. And I said that before that the Blazers needed freshening up in the coaching department. You know, Terry Stotts had been there for so long. He got them as far as he could take them. He did all he could do for that team. And, you know, unfortunately, it didn't work out, resulting to no championships. And now you have the possibility of Dame Lillard possibly leaving that team. So, but if Mike D'Antoni were to get hired, that could almost all but guarantee Dame would stay. Mike D'Antoni is still a high-profile coach, and the way he runs an offense could intrigue Damian Lillard to stay. So, like I said, Mike D'Antoni next Blazers coach. We'll find out here in a few, and I guess in a few days or the next coming weeks. Guess we'll find that out. And when we do find that out, if it's a confirmation and that he is hired as the next Blazers coach, I will be doing a separate video about that as well. Because once again, like I said, I have some unpacking I want to do with that because I have some opinions that is deserving, just more in line with me making another video for that. Basically like a 3-step breakdown process why I don't feel like Mike D'Antoni would be a good move for the Blazers as the next head coach. But once again, that'll be for another video. We are going to wrap this up for today. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. This is 717 Sports Chats Live. I'm your host, Marcus J, and I'm going to get out of here. You boys got to head to work for today. But like I said, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and keep note, I do have a merch store. You can check out the link in the description in my YouTube channel. I will also be uploading it to my Facebook account. I did upload it yesterday, but I'll be uploading it again. So anybody who wants to buy some merch, I have 3 items out right now. 2 women's tees, 1 guy tee. Just to start off, you know, that's basically what I was doing all day yesterday, just messing around with the merch store, trying to get ideas, trying to get, you know, get some thoughts on how I want to get these designs on these shirts and stuff. And if you guys have any ideas on what, you know, possible cool designs, you know, are out there that you would possibly put on a t-shirt that you would want, hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys, you know, think, or hit my inbox on Facebook. Let me, you can send me a message, give me some ideas. I'm always open to that. Once again, this is 717 Sports Chat Live. I am Marcus J, and I am out of here for today, guys. Stay blessed and enjoy your day.